Hi, I'm Bob, and welcome to Between the Sheets, where we look at Microsoft Excel and related technologies. In a previous episode, we saw how to use Excel to calculate present value. If you didn't see the video, or maybe you just forgot, I'll tell you briefly that present value is the value today of payments you'll make or receive in the future. So, what does that have to do with internal rate of return? Well, the IRR function gives you the rate of return of a series of future cash flows that occur at regular intervals. But what if they don't occur at regular intervals? Then we use the XIRR function. Both functions will give you a number, an interest rate. The way you use this is to decide how it compares with a relatively risk-free investment. I know, this might sound confusing. So let's take a look and see how it works. Here's what we're dealing with. On this first worksheet, we have two investment choices, and we want to compare them and see if either of them are financially worthwhile. Each one has an initial cost, which is a negative number, and then it follows with expected returns. And these could be anything. Maybe you need to buy new factory equipment and you're considering two different machines. Now you see the first one here costs less, and the expected payments are less. The second one costs more, the expected payments are more. And so you can see here that total dollars from the second one is higher than total dollars from the first one. But percentage-wise, which is the better deal? We don't know just by looking at it. Internal rate of return will give us the answer. The syntax is pretty simple. All you have to do is you say equals IRR, and then you input the initial cost in the returns, and then it gives you the result. Now, as an option, you can guess what the return might be, but unless the formula is throwing an error or a really weird number, just ignore that option. You'll probably never need it. All right, let's go do it. So I'm going to start with this first one here. So I'm going to say equals IRR, and gives us a little syntax help. And all I really got to do is so easy. I'm just going to select the whole thing from that negative initial investment all the way down to the bottom, hit enter, and you see it gives me a percentage. So I know that's an 11% return. Let's do with this one here. So again, I'm going to say equals IRR, and then I'm going to select the whole thing, the investment and the payments, enter it, and I see that's 6%. So we can see that the second investment costs more and returns more, but the first investment returns a higher yield. Well, that's great, but what if you think you'll get payments at irregular intervals? If you can give it some dates, use the XIRR function, and that's what we have here. So in this worksheet, you can see the cost is a lot higher, the payments are a lot higher, but look at the schedule. These are like random dates. And this investment isn't for the faint of heart. Instead of receiving a first payment, look at that. The very first, quote, payment, we're actually expecting to lose money. So who are you going to call? Well, it's the XIRR function. The syntax is almost the same. Like before, we give it cost and expected payments, but now there's a second required argument, which is for date. So equals XIRR. We give it the investment and revenue stream like before. Now we input the dates, and just ignore that guessing business. So let's go do this. Go back to Excel. Let's go in here, and I'm going to say equals XIRR. Same thing. I'm going to select the investment and the loss and the payments and all that, comma, here are all the dates. Doesn't matter how the dates are formatted. And then I enter, and I see, wow, that's a whopping 18%. So in this instance, our reward for putting up with this chaos is we get a bigger return than the previous two investments. Internal rate of return is another useful tool at your disposal when you have an important decision to make. So be sure to check out my course, Excel 365 for Busy People. Until next time, my name is Bob, and this has been Between the Sheets.